Oh man, caught me caught me in a bad moment. There we go. So we are live. Let's do this. Episode 2. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the weekend update. It is your boy T. We got a lot to talk about. We actually don't have a lot to talk about. And why is my YouTube always open? Oh, that's why. Because it was on Discord. There we go. So I don't hear myself anymore. I don't know why I do this every single time. But oh man, so thank you so much. My man Ace always showing support. The Ace Avenue, man, if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't even be doing this. I'll be totally honest. But yeah, it's the weekend update. We're here. Got the first episode out of the way. I was really nervous last week. I rushed through a lot. This week, I wanted to grab a glass of wine, kind of have a conversation, but I said, you know what? That's a little too forward thinking. I'll save that for next week. But this week, we will be talking about some brand new movies that came out this weekend. And are they worth your time? That's the biggest question. Is this movie worth your time? We got Tron Ares that dropped this week. Roofman starring Channing Tatum that also dropped this week. And a movie Soul on Fire. I have no idea what this movie Soul on Fire is about. But it's one of those faith-based movies. I think it's based on a true story and not really my cup of tea. If you like those type of movies, definitely it's one to go check out. A lot of people enjoy those faith-based movies. You got The Chosen. They air the series in the movie theater, and those movies seem to do really well. So Soul on Fire, that's out this weekend as well. Roofman, I didn't get a chance to check that out, but I've heard nothing but great things. And Channing Tatum to me is one of the most underrated actors in Hollywood. People give him crap for what I don't really know. Everything that I've ever seen him in, I always enjoy. But I didn't. It was either Tron or Roofman. In all honesty, my wife said, "Hey, you need to go see Tron." So when the wife says go see Tron, you go see Tron. So I went and saw Tron Ares instead of Roofman. And after watching Tron Ares, I kind of wish I went and saw Roofman. But it's a story, another story for another day. So yeah, I'll be doing a movie review on Tron Ares, starring Jared Leto, Greta Lee, Evan Peters, and Jodie Turner Smith or Jodie Smith Turner. If you've seen the Tron movies, if you're old like me, you grew up watching the original Tron. I'll be totally honest, I don't remember any of the plot of Tron. I just remember people on laser motorbikes driving around, leaving a blue trail or a yellow trail behind them, and just having VFX way ahead of its time. I think the original Tron came out in like 1984, maybe 1982 or something to that effect. But it's been over 40 years, which is crazy. Would you say that? It's been over 40. I think it's been 43 years. So I do think it came out in 1982, the original Tron. Then we had the sequel. I think that came out in 2019 or something. I can't remember when Tron Legacy came out. Tron Legacy wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it also, once again, unremarkable. I didn't really remember too much about it, and everyone seems to remember the score or the soundtrack of Tron. And me not being the biggest Nine Inch Nails fan, I don't really remember the score, but we'll definitely talk about the score of Tron Ares because Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails, Daft Punk, they're all back to do the score for this movie, and I'll just cat's out. It was a bit much. That's what I will say. Let's see. After Tron Ares, I wish I was watching Roofman. Should be a quote in one of the trailers for Roofman. I mean, it should be. Like it'd be the only time that anybody clips any of my movie reviews. But And that's not to say it was a bad movie. And I'll get into my thoughts on Tron Ares. But here we go. Let's try to do this a little more streamlined this time. But Tron Ares, the plot of that movie is, oh man, I deleted it. It's about AI. It's about Jared Leto being it. I deleted the plot. That's just crazy. We're, we're getting off to a great start here. But one thing that I do notice about Tron Ares is I keep seeing the word overhated. Like I've seen that in the Discord group I'm in with a lot of movie reviewers, and everybody keeps saying it's overhated, and I would like to disagree about that. I don't think it's overhated because right now it's sitting at 86, on the popcorn meter, but it's at 56 rotten with the critics. Critics are critics. Like critics are gonna criticize everything that people do, everything that's not normal, everything that's outside of the box. I don't think that this movie was that great, but I also don't think it was that bad either. Like I enjoyed, so I'll get right into my highlights. And one thing I really enjoyed was the visuals, of course. You go into Tron, you're here for the visuals. You're here to see laser bikes or motorbikes with lasers coming out of them. You're here to see the top-notch VFX, and we're kind of at a point where VFX, there's not really much unless you're James Cameron and you're doing an Avatar film. There's really not much that people are doing to just revolutionize VFX like Tron did in 1982 or like Star Wars did when it came out in the 70s. There's not much that you can do to just redefine it other than make things look realistic, right? Now we're trying to get to the point where we're making, they're de-aging Jeff Bridges for a scene in this movie, and they're trying to make that look realistic. We know what non-realistic VFX look like when you watch the last Indiana Jones movie and they de-age Harrison Ford and he looked like one of the Sims or something like that. It wasn't that great. But in this film, I thought the visuals was fantastic. I thought the score was great, but I'm gonna put the score in my lowlights because the score was just so heavy. Like it was very synth, it was very bass heavy, and it just overpowered some scenes. And I don't think the score did some scenes a great service because when you have two characters speaking, and this is like a new trend where everyone wants the score to be just in your face, or they just have a great score and they want you to hear it. You're having a dramatic scene where two characters should be having a very important conversation, and the score is just kind of just pulsing. Like this score was just beating. And it was, once again, dope score. It always knocked, it always hit, but at the same time, it just was, it was pulsing when two characters, and it wasn't a romantic thing. It was just they're having a very informational, dialogue heavy scene. And then you just have that pulse in the background of the stumping techno or whatever you want to call it. And it was distracting. It was distracting scene. And Jared Leto's performance, which I thought was fine. I thought all of the actors' performances were okay, but I thought Jared Leto was miscast in it as this role, as Ares. I thought that he just didn't fit what they were trying to do with Ares. And that could just be me. It just could be the long hair, the beard. It just kind of didn't make sense to me, why they cast Jared Leto in this role, which maybe he's the only one who wanted to do it. But I mean, I think if you get another young and up and coming, good looking guy, you probably get more bang for your buck than having Jared Leto kind of bring the movie down, because there are a lot of Jared Leto detractors. There are a lot of people who don't enjoy him. Why? I don't know. I really don't know. I'll just get to a few of these comments. It's probably why the creators also of it also deleted the plot because they knew people were there for the visuals. Like I went there for the visuals. I didn't expect to get wowed by an immaculate story, but at the same time, the story Wasn't that bad. It was confusing, but it really wasn't that bad. And yes, that I think that's when I noticed it the most. Useless skills. They did the same in the highest, lowest. That's the one reason I did not enjoy that movie. Like that's probably the biggest reason why I didn't enjoy the movie because the score just overshadowed everything that was going on the screen. You know, you got once again a very dramatic scene. People were just talking business, and you just had in that movie you had this very upbeat, jazzy score. In this movie, you just had like this lo-fi, just techno babble, just thumping in your ear, and it was really loud in my theater. I wasn't in IMAX, you know, I wasn't at the RBX or you know those shaking seats. Like I was in a normal movie theater, and it was just loud. Like I could barely, I could hear what he was saying, but the music just drowned out the meaning of anything he was saying. But back to the highlight, I thought Greta Lee was a highlight. I thought she was phenomenal in this movie. Like her character to me was the heart and soul of the movie. I think her character arc made the movie make sense to me. At least like her character arc was the only arc that made sense in this movie. There were a lot of things that I thought was just thrown together for the sake of getting the visual. Jodie Smith Turner. It's really funny that every single one of the Tron bits or the Tron soldiers, they were all so distinctly different. And I just thought that was weird because, like, if you have a single creator or you have someone creating an army of soldiers, you would think they would all look the same, but every single one of them looked distinctly different. And I just thought that that was weird. I don't know. Maybe that's just a me thing. Um, but you know, as far as the highlights for this movie, visuals was great. I thought it was great directing. I thought it was great pacing. The movie didn't seem overly long, and it just, I mean, it looks beautiful. Like if you're gonna go see anything in the theater over the weekend, it would definitely be this movie because of the visuals. Go see it in IMAX. See a spectacle on screen. It is not nonstop action. There is dialogue in it. Some of the dialogue makes sense. Some of it doesn't. But I I enjoyed it for the most part. Of course, we can't have highlights without having lowlights because I mean, once again, the score. I thought the miscasting of Evan Peters as the villain. Evan Peters played. I don't remember his name. There were a lot of people who I don't remember any of the characters' name other than Athena and Ares, and that's because they were single single names and they were kind of the main characters or two of the main characters of this film. But I thought they just miscast Jared Leto and Evan Peters. I think two other actors in these roles would have bolstered the movie because Evan Peters is kind of playing like this Mark Zuckerberg-ish character, and he reminded me too much of Jesse Eisenberg. And after Jesse Eisenberg's Luthor, I don't want to see that type of character on my screen. So that's one of the biggest lowlights was just the miscast of some of these characters. I thought Jodie Smith Turner was fine, but at the same time, unremarkable. You know, there were I thought Gillian Anderson, she was in the film and I thought she was phenomenal. She played Evan Peters' mom. I think she's like become the new movie mom, but or TV show mom. But just there was a lot to be a lot to be desired from this film. The story, the plot, just it happened. Like there were things that happened. It was a lot of going between the AI world, and there was this quest for the permanence. I think that's what it was called, like to come to our world and be permanent. But at the same time, once you're permanent, you're actually human, so you could die, which absolutely. I mean, I guess that was the plot to AIs want to be human so bad, but at the same time humans want to be AI. Weird. weird flow of weird flow of the story. Oh man, wait a second. Frank just came in here and said he is showing love to the most handsome wrestling podcaster on the internet. Wait a second. Frank's not on it. Is Frank behind me? What's going on? I appreciate the support, man. Thank you so much for popping in. We're just talking about Tron Ares. Not my favorite movie of the year, but it was a movie and it looked great, right? It looked great. So, of course, anytime I do a movie review, the question is always, who is this movie made for? If you like Nine Inch Nails, you like Daft Punk, and you like the score of Tron Legacy, then you'll probably enjoy the score in this movie. You'll probably enjoy this movie as much as anybody else. Once again, not a bad movie. If you like sci-fi, if you like the thought of AI taking over, I've seen this movie before. I've seen a very similar movie like this. It was called Pixels, starring Adam Sandler. There was another movie. I don't know why this movie came to my mind as I was thinking of the review. Man, I can't think of it. It's a movie that came out recently. Not Ex Machina, but it was another movie based on AI trying to get into the real world. But this movie is for sci-fi lovers. If you love Jared Leto, you're gonna love this movie. If you're a Greta Lee fan, you're gonna love this movie. I thought the movie was very serviceable, but the action, had a little bit to be desired. It could have had a little more action. It could have had a little less techno babble. Megan 2.0. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Useless skills are in my head. Megan 2.0, that's exactly the movie that I thought did it better than this. Like Megan 2.0 did this story better than Tron Ares, because it was fun, right? This movie tried to throw some humor in there. You had Hassan Minaj in it. I think that's his name. He was in there. There was some other guy who I have seen in a few other movies. He was trying to be the comic relief, but none of that worked to me. Those other side characters simply did not work. Like, I think Greta Lee really was so. Greta Lee, Jared Leto wasn't bad. Gillian Anderson was good. Jodie Turner Smith was okay, but I felt like she was just kind of there, just looking menacing the entire movie. She was one of the other Tron bots. I don't know what they call themselves. Like, I don't remember what any. I came from the movies maybe 2 hours ago, seeing this movie, and I've already forgot 90% of it. But I didn't forget the score and the visuals, and that alone makes it worth going to see in the big screen if you have time this weekend. If you have time, definitely go check this out. If you want to spend the money, definitely go check this out. Not sure if this is much of a date movie. If you're trying to go out on a, husband and wife date, boyfriend girlfriend date, girlfriend girlfriend, boyfriend boyfriend, whoever you are, whatever partner and partner, whatever your lifestyle is. I don't know if this is much of a date movie, but it is a movie. It's big budget, big action set pieces, a lot of VFX in this film, and it checks all of those, big budget sci-fi action flick boxes, but almost to a fault, right? It did nothing new. It did have Jeff Bridges. I almost forgot one of my biggest problems with this movie is Jeff Bridges just decided to phone in his like Jeff Bridges was playing the dude inside of the system. Like he just kind of was there. He had a cameo, and his cameo I felt was, I understood why they did it, but respect to you, Jeff Bridges, but I don't know. Stay home next time. If they do have a Tron 4, which they did have a mid-credit scene kind of leading us into something new, into something fresh. And hopefully they do something with that, right? The mid-credit scene, you don't have to stay all the way through, because there is no post-credit scene after the credits finish rolling, but there is a mid-credit scene that kind of gives us a glimpse into where they may go next. And I mean, the mid-credit scene actually had me a little excited on where they might go next. So Tron Ares, go check it out this weekend if you got the time. I would go check it out in IMAX. The showing in IMAX was a little too late. I probably would just be getting home now if I went and saw that IMAX showing. So I went and saw it in 3D. Beautiful movie in 3D. It's probably even better in IMAX. So definitely, if you got the time, check it out. If not, it's gonna look just as great on your 85-inch screen TV that you have in your house with your Dolby Atmos, speakers. If you're doing it big, like if you on your home theater, this movie's gonna look great. But yeah, Tron Ares, man. I did get a chance to see another movie this week, and it was a streaming film. And funny enough, it was maintenance required. I saw the previews to this movie, and if you know me, you know I love rom coms, right? And I'm not ashamed to say it. For years in the military, people tease me. I love rom coms. One of my channel ideas, one of my channel names when I first started doing YouTube, it was gonna be Must Love Rom Coms, right? There's a movie that I begrudgingly saw years ago called Must Love Dogs. I don't remember anything about this movie. Funny story. Welcome to Storytime with T. You guys have never had Storytime with T on the live stream, but I want to say this was in like the early 2000s. I was going on a date with probably, I don't want to say this too loud, but probably one of the most attractive women I've ever seen. Like we had a date and I was running late, right? I was running so late. We were going to a movie and we missed the movie we really wanted to see. And the only other movie that we could see that night was this movie, this rom com starring Janine Garofalo. And boy, she had a moment in Hollywood. But we went and saw this movie, Must Love Dogs, and it was so unremarkable. It starred John Cusack and Janine Garofalo. Like, imagine those two, if you know those two actors, being in a rom com, very older type rom com. It was not a good time, not a good movie. But that's where I got the title from, right? I was going to title the YouTube channel Must Love Rom Coms. Thank goodness I did not go with that because there are not a lot of good rom coms out there. And Maintenance Required is one of those not so good rom coms. Maintenance Required is directed by Lacey Ullman, starring Madeline Pesh from, I think she was in Riverside. She's been in the last two Strangers movies. Jacob Scipio, Katie O'Brien, Jim Gaffigan. They're starring in Maintenance Required. And yeah, it was a movie, right? It was a rom-com. It was a very formulaic rom-com. And the only highlight to this movie really was the aesthetic of the movie, right? It was this very beautifully shot movie. It looked nice. The city, they went Oakland. They made Oakland look presentable, right? When I think of Oakland, I think of, you know, Crips and Bloods. I think of, getting jacked. This made Oakland look bright and vibrant, like it was shot right outside the Oracle Arena where the Golden State Warriors used to play. But it was a beautifully shot movie, and I think that's where, and of course it had a very beautiful cast, right? This movie had a just gorgeous cast. Katie O'Brien looked great. Madeline Pesh looked great. Jacob Scipio, just good looking, tall guy. And that really was it when it comes to highlights. But those lowlights, boy, oh boy, this movie was something atrocious. This was not a fun rom com. This is not funny. It wasn't I mean, it had romance, but it felt so forced. The plot is, Charlie, the lead character played by Madeline Pesh. She works in an all-girl mechanic shop, which, okay, cool, right? And three very good looking women working at this mechanic shop, confides in her online confidant, Bo, who turns out to be her real life business rival. So it's one of those type movies where they don't know that they're really in love with each other because they're rivals. And it just didn't work in this movie. And most of the time it does work. It depends on the characters and it depends on the script. The script was very formulaic. I felt one thing I don't like about movies or comedy movies in general is when somebody has a specific occupation, right? So, say for instance, someone's a car driver, or in this case, they're all mechanics. Everything that they talk about, there's mechanic puns, there's like car puns throughout this movie, which annoyed me to no end. It's like it's okay to be a normal person. You can be a normal person and still be a mechanic and not just talk about cars or just not make car jokes the entire movie. Like everybody just kept making these mechanic and car jokes that were not funny and it just kind of ruined it. Now, Jim Gaffigan played Jacob's boss. He was the funniest guy in the movie because Jim Gaffigan's a pretty funny guy. He's playing the asshole boss, and it worked for him, right? He played that to a T. He had these two assistants who just were there to tell him yes and tell him he had great ideas. The entire movie had like these two just gorgeous women. Their only job, they were the CFO and the COO. I thought that was the funniest bit of the whole movie is they just followed him around and just told him he's doing a great job and he looked great. And everything else in the movie, eh, it could have gone either way. And I love rom coms, right? I love them to death. This one just did not hit. It wasn't funny. The romance felt forced. The characters really didn't have any chemistry other than they were just two good looking people, right? That was really the only chemistry they had. They're just two great looking people fighting with each other, because they're rivals, and it just didn't work for me. I really wanted it to. I loved the trailer. I was excited to see it, and once I watched it, I wish I'd watched Gen V instead. Right? I wish I watched the last episode of Gen V instead. But who is this movie made for? If you love those Hallmark type romance movies that are just really thin on the plot and just high on good looking people, then you'll probably love this movie, right? Because Jacobs, Scipio, and Madeline Pesh, they're just two great looking people. Katie O'Brien, great looking person. The third person, I don't remember who the third person was who worked at this all female garage. Great looking person. Like I would have car troubles every other week, right? They'll wonder I'd be broke because I'd be going in there taking my car and like breaking my car just to go into the shop. But yeah, maintenance required. Not much viewing required for this movie unless you just really love rom-coms like me. Like if you really love those Hallmark type movies, this one might be for you. Other streaming movies this week, other digital releases that we have this week, we have on Prime Video, John Candy Like Me, documentary on John Candy's life. I grew up a big John Candy fan, Spaceballs, Stripes. So this is an inside look in his life. Tragic, rest in peace, John Candy, one of the funniest comedians, one of the funniest big man. Back in the day in the 80s, you always had the fat friend, like or the movie was centered around that fat guy, Jim Belushi, Chris Farley took that realm over time. But yeah, we got that. How to Train Your Dragon is on Peacock. I'm looking forward to watching that with the kids. We watched the animated one right before the live action film came out. For some reason, we just didn't go see it in a theater, but now we'll watch it on Peacock. We got Lurker that's streaming now on Mubi. I don't have Mubi, but I probably should have Mubi because it did have the substance on there. But the movie Lurker looks very interesting. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I heard it's weird. I heard it's a very disturbing film, which makes me want to watch it even more. There is a movie called Vicious that I literally, right before I started this live stream, I looked at the trailers starring Dakota Fanning, and it looks like weapons, like it feels like weapons, but man, it is not weapons. It's a movie called Vicious. It's on Paramount Plus. I'm gonna watch it literally after I stop the stream. I'm going to watch that movie because I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I wish I would have known about it a little bit earlier in the day, um, but I do want to see this movie. It has Dakota Fanning has an old lady and looks like witchcraft or some type of sorcery, and I'm here for it. And then lastly, another streaming release is The Woman in Cabin 10 on Netflix. I could have swore this was Daisy Ridley, but come to find out it's Keira Knightley. I'm sorry, Daisy Ridley. You're not I think Keira Knightley's like in her 40s. Daisy Ridley's like probably like 25. But they do kind of look alike. Like they do look like they could be sisters or something like that. But this movie looks intriguing. It looks like one of those run of the mill thrillers. I'm kind of excited to see it. I really would like to see what that's all about. I do like mysteries. I do like thrillers. I do like Keira Knightley. So, I'll check that out sometime this weekend. And yes, The Substance is on HBO Max. But when it came out, it initially came out on Mubi. Like it was streaming on Mubi for a while before HBO Max got the streaming rights to it. And that was one of the reasons I thought about getting a movie because it gets some of those independent films, those films that you would like to see in the theater, but most of the time they don't come to your theater. I live in El Paso, Texas. A lot of those indie films, a lot of those limited release films never get released here. And they definitely don't get released in my AMC, which is like AMC Stubs, my best friend, because I get to see 3 movies a week for, I think it's like $23. So we don't get a lot of those limited releases. The big cities, the Phillies, the New York, Houston, Dallas, they get all of the releases. They get the limited releases in the little art house theaters. We just never get those, man. And I mean, The Substance was a bigger release, but I was kind of weary of it when it first came out, and I did watch it when it hit streaming. I rented it, and I was pleasantly surprised. See, definitely checking out Vicious 2. Daisy really is going to be in a zombie flick that looks good. I can't remember the name of it, but that movie does look. It looks like a different take on the zombie outbreak, and it looks very interesting. I like Daisy really. I love The Cleaner, very low budget action film. But I like her in a lot of her movies. She was in a movie a few years ago, Sometimes I Feel Like Dying. Love that movie. She's better in small indie films because I think she's kind of over Hollywood after the Star Wars and that Rey backlash, which I think she's actually going to come back and play Rey again at some point. At some point, and yeah, they really do look eerily similar, and that's no insult to any one of them because they're both gorgeous women. Let's see. Talk about a few new trailers. Why does this stream always? I always feel like I'm just speeding through things. But I did see the trailer. I don't know if anybody here has seen the trailer for Wonder Man. I would love to know what people's thoughts on Wonder Man is because I am extremely intrigued after watching this latest trailer. Um, Yahya Mateen, Yahya Abdul Mateen the third, I think it is. Um, this is gonna be different, and the best thing about Wonder Man being different is everything that the has done that people thought was gonna be bad ended up being great. People just crapped on like initially WandaVision. Why are we doing a Wanda show? Why are we doing a WandaVision show? It looks stupid. It looks bad. Turned out to be fantastic. People crapped on Agatha all along. That ended up being one of my favorite MCU shows. Right? The properties and items that people are really excited about generally turn out to be okay or even bad. Marvel Zombies, another one. Like people weren't looking out for it. They just were not anticipating it came out, and that to me is one of their best animated shows. Um, yeah, I totally agree that it does seem like the MCU is coming out with fresh ideas, and they're coming out with different ideas. Like, and this is not a hot take. Um, I don't think MCU fans know what they really want because they want Cat back. Everybody wants Steve Rogers back. Everybody wants Iron Man back. We got to move on at some point, right? At some point, you have to do something different. They have the heroes. The Marvel has tons of heroes that they could go with. It is okay to move forward. Yes, people might back like Shang-Chi. Where's Shang-Chi? Right? Where one of the best MCU movies, not of any phases. That's a top 10 MCU movie, period. Shang-Chi was amazing. Then you saw him back in Marvel Zombies. I love the character in Marvel Zombies. Where is he at other than that small bit role? Where's Shang-Chi 2? It's not even on the schedule, right? They have so many characters they can draw from. Doesn't have to be Eternals 2, even though I wouldn't mind an Eternals 2. But like where are the ideas? We don't have to go back to Thor 6. We don't have to bring Iron Man back. We have ple- we have so many characters we can draw from. We have so Miss Marvel. She was dope in Marvel Zombies. Where is Kamal, Vellani? Like where we're wasting away these characters that should have had a movie already, right? There's not enough time, there's not enough money to shoot all of these movies all at once, but I mean, they have to do better. And that's my MCU rant. I won't. I could rant on the MCU for hours, but I do think Wonder Man is going to be interesting because one, Yaya's a great actor, right? Say it again. Say it again for the people in the back. Give us Blade. What are we doing? One of the best parts of Marvel Zombies as well. Like there was so many great parts of Marvel Zombies, and I wasn't the biggest fan of Moon Knight, the series, but it wasn't a bad series. It just didn't hit for me. But boy, oh boy, Blade, Blade Knight, Moon Knight, and Blade together. Man, that was. I'm ready. Clear your schedule, Mahershala. Like Mahershala Ali. Like clear your schedule. Just make it happen. Give me Blade. It doesn't need to be a huge budget. It don't need to be a galactic battle. Blade, give me Mahershala Ali in a trench coat, stabbing zombies in the face with a sword, and I'm there. Right? It doesn't have to be a big budget movie. You can make that movie for less than $50 million, and you'll probably make five, six, $700 million just because Blade is on the screen. We saw how everyone reacted to when Wesley Snipes stepped on the scene in Deadpool and Wolverine, but we get a younger Mahershala Ali with the trench coat on, saying cool one-liners and just being cool and killing vampires. It is a win-win for everybody, right? It's a win-win. They really don't have to spend that much money on this movie. They can make it very street level, and just do it big that way. Low level street thugs who are vampires, and then Blade just killing them, right? It doesn't have to be set in space, and it doesn't have to be a Midnight Suns thing either, right? Give me a solo Blade film before you give me Ghost Rider, before you give me all these other Midnight Sun characters, or before you give us Riri Williams again and Mephisto. Don't need that. Just give me a solid Blade film. I don't need Dracula. Give me Deacon Frost again. Have him ice skate up a hill, and we good to go, man. Like I'm here. Make the whole thing in a nightclub. Something like that Last Dread movie would be cool. Man, you over here speaking my language, useless skills. Because the Last Dread movie, the Judge Dredd with Carl Urban, took a lot from the Raid Redemption, Love that, one of my favorite action movies of all time, right? That single location type thing. Yes, you're 100, making it, put it in like a cathedral or something, something that's like symbolic with, vampires, or a nightclub, one of those nightclubs in Romania that just, because I think the end of one of the Blades, he was in like Romania, one of those nightclubs, like huge Gothic cathedral style nightclubs that have like underground layers and stuff like that. I'm here for it. Like I'll watch that. I'll watch that right now. There's so many things you could do. There's so many ways you can make that movie great without spending $500 million on it. Like the budget on Avengers Doomsday is. I'm pretty sure if that budget is under $750 million, I'll be surprised. Like we got about 70 plus actors in there, and all of them at least getting paid. At least getting paid $1 million. Robert Downey Jr. is getting paid $100 million. So, and then if they bring Chris Evans back, he's at least getting 30 to $40 million. So that budget is ballooning. So you might need that Blade coming in, and you make that for about $50 million. Spend another 50 on advertising, and you're gonna make your money back. Probably make 600% of your money back. Exactly. Like, man, no lie. I remember going to see that in the theater. I went and saw that in the Dollar Theater here. Uh, when I think I when did that come out? That came out in the '90s. But I do remember going to see it in a Dollar Theater, and I was just blown away with just that scene. Just the thought of being in some underground uh, refrigerator nightclub, like it's like inside of a freezer or something, and just the blood pouring down. It's like that is one of the most iconic scenes in like movies to me. You know, was that the blood coming down and it just partying, and then man, Wesley Snipes, man, like we wouldn't even have the MCU if it wasn't for Wesley Snipes. So give us Blade. I mean, that's a terrible pitch, but we need Blade. I don't need a Midnight Suns movie. We don't have to force a Midnight Suns movie in there. I mean, it might be cool. I don't need to see Nick Cage as Ghost Rider ever again. Just I never need to see that. But yeah, give me Blade. Give me Blade. That's a great idea for the next phase to get the budget down. Right? You do a a Hawkeye movie, right? Kate Bishop. Let's get Kate Bishop on the big screen. Very low budget, right? You can do all those things. You could give us another Black Widow movie. We don't need another. I mean, you could give us another Thunderbolts movie or New Avengers, whatever you want to call them. Something that's going to keep the budget down. It doesn't have to be a huge space battle, because once we bring the X-Men in, those budgets are going to climb, right? You can't make an X-Men movie without spending a lot of money because of the mutant powers, right? You got Rogue, you got hopefully you got Rogue, hopefully you got Gambit, hopefully you got Cyclops, Wolverine, whoever you cast as the new Wolverine, or get Hugh Jackman back. Storm, Beast, Professor X, like all of these core characters that cost money, right? Jean Grey, all of those characters cost money. So you better get those B characters out of the way now. I mean, you could do another Shang-Chi movie, straight action. The Rings, a little bit of VFX, but once again, street level type hero. He goes out there and just does a lot of kung fu, and that's a win, right? And once again, you could keep the budget low. You do another Eternals movie, huge budget. We're going into space. I mean, both the Avengers movies, if they don't make $2 billion, yeah, it's not going to work. Let's see. Great stream, bro. Glad I could be here for it. You already know I had to unsubscribe when you said you love rom-coms, but I resubscribed when you said Shang-Chi deserves another movie. I mean, it's okay, man. You don't have to admit it on the stream. You don't have to type it out that you love rom-coms too. But you do. I know everybody does. Secretly, everybody loves rom coms, except for my wife. My wife does not. My wife does not like rom coms. Anytime I'm picking a movie, it's a fight. It's a struggle to get a good rom com in there. It's a struggle. She still loves me though. She still loves me. All life is a rom com. I kid, I kid. But yeah, I mean, Shang-Chi definitely, I think Shang-Chi could be the driving force or one of the saving figures in the MCU if he's used right. Same thing with Kamala Khan. I think she really could be, um, I think she really could be the MCU Spider-Man if they use the right. If they ever lose the rights to Spider-Man, if we never get a Miles Morales, we got Kamala Khan, right? She can take over Tom Holland's role as that young, plucky sidekick who just is happy to be there, right? We saw that in Marvel Zombies. Um, it just see, you get it. Definitely, maybe top three rom coms of all time. Definitely, I love that movie. Love that movie. That is one of my favorite rom coms. Definitely, maybe. Um, but let's see if we got anything else. Any other trailers? I did watch another trailer, but I can't remember what it was. Um, but yeah, Wonder Man. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to Wonder Man. Looking forward to what the MCU does next. Looking forward to what Tron does next. Because once again, the mid-credit scene in Tron was very interesting and very intriguing. So I would love to see what they do next. But on that note, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. I think I'm gonna wrap up this week's weekend update. Once again, thank you so much, Useless Skills. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. You have no idea. The Ace Avenue, he popped in earlier. Frank, thank you so much. My way better looking co-host of the Island of Relevancy podcast that we do every Wednesday night, except for this Wednesday, because your boy's out here house hunting, trying to find a new house to buy, trying to keep the family happy, trying to find a house, trying to pick a house with your wife and your kids. It is a struggle when all of y'all have different needs and wants, and I'm the one paying for it. Another story for another day. Whole nother story, whole nother day. But once again, thank y'all so much for being here. I'm going to close it out right now. And you can catch me next Friday. We're going to be doing this every Friday night, 10 p.m. Get your cognac, get your bottle, glass of wine. Come listen, come talk about movies, come talk about movies you love, what movies you're gonna watch over the weekend, what movies you watch over the week. I did watch, well, man, before I go, I did watch this movie Play Dirty with Mark Wahlberg and Lakeith Stanfield. It was on Amazon Prime. And Maintenance Required was on Amazon Prime as well. Amazon Prime makes terrible movies. I need y'all to do better because Play Dirty was terrible. Mark Wahlberg, Rosa Salazar, Lakeith Stansfield, F. Murray Abraham, not F. Murray Abraham, Tony Shalhoub. Why do I mix those two up? Tony Shalhoub. Oh man, a heist movie that was just bad. It was a terrible heist movie. Mark Wahlberg, do better. That was not a good movie. Amazon Prime, Amazon Video, whatever you want to call it, do better on making movies because the last two movies I've watched from you have been really bad. The shows, not so, like I love the shows. The Boys, Gen V is great, right? I still need to catch up on the last. Yes, I did not watch that trailer though. Yes, Amazon, man, these aren't strays. These are straight shots of them. Like y'all got to do better. But I did not catch the Invincible trailer. They just dropped that today as well. I mean, you can't like Invincible. That show can do no wrong in my eyes. I think that they understand the assignment when it comes to that show. All of the superhero shows, The Boys, Gen V. I heard they're doing The Boys Mexico. like that's gonna be a spinoff next. Not sure how that one's gonna go down, but I mean, I'll watch it. You know. So yes, Amazon Prime, do better with movies, right? Your shows, The Terminal List, love it. They have another show with I'm about the black guy from Grey's Anatomy, Jackson Avery. I cannot think of his real name. Jesse something. Jesse Williams. There you go. Jesse Williams. He has a show on Amazon Prime. Ballard with Maggie Q. Love all of their shows, right? Bosch. All of the shows are great. Just those movies, right? The movies are so hit or miss. The Pickup was terrible. Like I didn't enjoy The Pickup. P. Davidson in any movie is just not high on my list. But Amazon Prime, do better. Do better. Well, Bad Bunny's not Mexican. That'll probably piss like, man. That you think people are mad because Bad Bunny's doing the Super Bowl. If Bad Bunny's in the boys Mexico, boy, the Mexicans gonna be so mad because uh, I, I don't know if you notice or not, but Latinos, if you're like from Colombia, Venezuelan, or Dominican or Puerto Rican, and you say like if you tell a Puerto Rican or call a Puerto Rican Mexican, you might have to. If you call a Puerto Rican Dominican, or if you call a Dominican Puerto Rican, you might have a fight on your hands. So Bad Bunny being in the boys Mexico might not be the greatest thing for business with actual Mexicans. But I mean, I'll watch it. Oh, you Dominican? Okay, respect. So you know, so you know for sure, man. I growing up in New York, man. If you want to insult a girl and you know she's like Cuban, call her Dominican. Or if you want to insult a Puerto Rican, call her anything other than Puerto Rican, and you might get cut. There's a good chance you might get cut. Me and my brother, we were terrible at that growing up. We were terrible because we just assumed everybody was Puerto Rican. Like we would just say it like, "Oh, you Puerto Rican?" And no, I'm from Venezuela. Okay, my bad. I didn't know. I didn't know. But on that note, I'm definitely gonna end it now. Amazon, do better. I'm gonna do better next week. Uh, the show's gonna be back Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope y'all join. I hope you come back, Useless Skills. I appreciate the conversation, and I'll catch y'all later. And and that is another story for a whole nother day. You're 100% right. They well, we're all brothers and sisters.